Ika truptihi. It only satisfies you temporarily.
Yeah.
Yavat jivam javidyaya. Knowledge giver will never be forgotten. I'm
Yeah.
100% sure, even if Reverend Susanna wants, she cannot forget me for
Yeah.
this lesson which I gave.
Definitely. And Guruji, think of all the people Guruji feeds.
So before continuing this discussion, I enjoyed the discussion. Our guest of honor is here, Dr. Frank Kaufmann. After he speak, then we'll ask more questions. I know this is a very good debate. He is the president of the 12 Gates Foundation and adjunct professor of the Interfaith Ministry at the Unification Theological Seminary and our long-time advisor of the World Yoga Community. Dr. Frank Kaufmann, floor is for it.
Thank you, Guruji. I'm sorry I'm late.
That's fine.
I had another commitment, and I'm sorry I missed the presentation of Professor Chesnavich because I believe he spoke on Christianity. So I don't want to be repetitious. But I can't know if I am or not. That's my bad. As I caught the very tail end of this conversation, I caught a bit of an exchange involving the relationship between Christianity and Hinduism in India. I believe that's slightly different than the topic of the relationship between Christianity and yoga. So I was asked to prepare some thoughts on Christianity and yoga, so I'll limit myself to that rather than the issue of the relationship between Christianity and Hinduism. When you talk about the history of the relationship between two religions, you have to deal with politics, economics, geography, history. It's a very complex and complicated matter. Also, there are majority religions and minority religions. Also, every religion is multiform or complex. There are people who hold extreme views in both religions in relationship. And then there are personal histories. So the issue of trying to work with religions in conversation is very complicated. But I just wanted to limit my thoughts this morning on the interesting issue of the relationship between Christianity and yoga. I think that Guruji is doing something very, very courageous, very avant-garde, very, very forward-looking. It's a conversation that is not had there. People just kind of stumbled into that without thinking much about it, and good thought needs to happen in the arena. And so I think it's very fine work of Guruji to be asking this question out loud and asking considerable and intelligent people to be commenting on it. I prepared a couple of slides, Guruji, because the talk is a little bit longer than our usual few minutes. Would that be all right, just to share them?
Yes, yes.
If you think that's okay, tell me if or I can see. Yeah, not yet. I can't yet. I can work off of them on my own. It would be easier, more helpful if people could see them as well. But either way is all right. You did it now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Okay, lovely. All right, so this is, I think everyone can see this, right? This slide. Yoga and Christianity, right? Is it visible to everyone? Somebody, how about Reverend Susanna? Is it visible? Yeah? Good, thank you. All right, so here's the few thoughts I wanted to offer for this community this morning. Okay, so here's just a couple of little. I'm going to speak mostly about yoga practice in the United States of America and the question of yoga for Western Christians. So there's about 30 million Americans who practice yoga. That's a massive amount of human beings. The number of yogis who the number of yogis increased 50% in 4 years, in the last 4 years. So that's momentum, that's trend. It's only bound to increase. These latter two pieces of data are just matters of interest. I don't quite know why women account for such a high percentage of yoga practitioners. All you can do is get in trouble by trying to guess why. And 14 million over the age of 50. That's really promising. It's good for people over 50 to take good care of themselves. So, on the matter of can Christians practice yoga, or should Christians practice yoga, or may Christians practice yoga? Here's a quote in answer to that question. No, Christians should not practice yoga, since the intention of yoga is a path to attain salvation through union with a false deity. Some Christians practice yoga and say that all Christians can practice yoga, but that is incorrect. Christians should not be involved in any meditative methodology that deals with energy balancing, focused energy movement, chakras, etc., of which yoga advocates. That's a rather disturbing thing to read or see or hear, but there is a significant voice in American Christianity that regards yoga practice as worrisome and as a threat to the ideal of Christian behavior. Conversely, you can find the answer to the question exactly the opposite. Christians can practice yoga as a method of exercise and meditation and glorifying God. Taking the time to move, stretch, and strengthen our bodies can be a way to worship the Lord and honor the Holy Spirit within us. More than most other methods of exercise, yoga encourages and offers intention, mindfulness, and focus. When we direct these things to the Lord, all of these can be beautiful and worshipful. Practicing yoga should not be an issue to Christians because God always looks at the heart of his people. As long as you are practicing yoga to glorify God, there should be no problem. So in the simplest bit of hunting around or just wanting to hear a Christian offer an opinion, and if they're getting into quotable spaces, they are Christians with influence for sure. You hear the exact opposite affirmations. This range, just in a couple of slides, I think should be helpful for people who think that they can just approach the issue simplistically or unthinkingly, or just regard my own opinion as settled matter. Of course, Christians should practice yoga. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. I feel wonderful by doing it. It's healthy. It's good. But it's yes. I have my opinion. I have my experience. I'm happy with. I personally. I don't know why or how that happened, but I've been practicing yoga, I think, for around 45 years. I love it. I'm grateful for it. And I think it's the most wonderful thing in the world. But I think we do need to be aware that there are perspectives in Christianity in which non-evil people and not bad people actually honestly feel concerned about whether or not yoga practice is a concern for Christian belief. The point of where there's two pairs of things that are involved in trying to resolve these differences. One pair is what's called traditional yoga and what's called modern yoga. Another pair is what's called hatha yoga and raja yoga. And so the question for these people who are dogmatic or serious about their religious beliefs is, can one engage in the health practices without engaging in the cosmology and metaphysics and particular religious practices? That's the question, and that's the issue. And this other Christian thinker that I was reading and thinking with wants to move beyond just saying, no, you don't have to worry about Hinduism. They believe what they believe, but we're saved by Jesus. And so we just want the physical breathing and the health and the body, and that's a way to do it, but I don't think it's the highest way. And I'll conclude in a minute or two. Here's some thoughts from a thinking and intelligent Christian, which I really enjoyed her thought. Here she is finding in the yamas, in the yogic concepts and practices, and from within the Hindu elements, the more metaphysical and the more spiritual elements of yoga. It isn't just to protect my Christianity, and so I'll just stretch and I'll just breathe, and that's all I want to know. She's actually investigating into the wisdom of Hinduism and finding its parallels and its bridges and its commonalities across both practices, so that the Christian practicing yoga doesn't have to just be like going to the gym. That person, he or she, can actually be enhancing and strengthening their own spirituality and their own religious life. And I think this is really, I think this might be quite consonant with the vision and potential of the World Yoga Community. And Guruji knows this. I don't even have to address you on such matters. But here are the classic things that one will find in Hinduism, where if you go down to Tennessee and walk into a church and you talk about ahimsa and what is it, aparigraha, asteya, brahmacharya, you'll scare them to death in the church. But then if you talk to them about don't steal, don't covet, don't murder, it's like the Ten Commandments, it's straight out of the Bible, and they'll say, oh, sorry, Yoguji, Guruji, please, here's a seat in the front. It's straight out of our way of life. So this is a slightly higher way of engaging and starting to see how yoga can be a bridge to the two communities, not by protectively relegating it to pure, quote unquote, exercise, which is fine if that's all you're interested in, and you can derive your powers to have your purity and your truthfulness in other sources. This is fine one way or the other, but this frightened delimiting of physical, I'm just stretching, it's not necessary. The religions are highly compatible. These are even more deeply inside of the spirituality of Hinduism associated with yoga. And these are the things that when the dogmatic Christian or the doctrine-oriented Christian will have concern about the concept of God. They don't really like the pantheistic, all-pervasive God and all. The Christians really have a much preference for an intentional God of grace, and so, but this doesn't interfere with Christian postures of myself and God as not the same thing, which are part of certain Hindu spiritualities. So I can send this uh, these couple of lists or these couple of slides to our friends here, Guruji, or
Yes,
you
yes,
can
you can,
post
you can
it.
say. Yeah.
And I think it will be an ongoing kind of tool or an added little bauble in our sack of coins while we're traveling together. So there it is. Those are some thoughts on Christianity and yoga. And I what do you call it? I praise you, Guruji, for the courage and for the simple confidence that harmony is always just around the corner or already with us.
The main uh, core teaching of the spirituality itself is unconditional love, nothing else.
Amen.
All the religions are man-made, but spirituality exists in the universe. Do you agree or not agree? This is my personal opinion.
Yeah. I guess they're man-made in cooperation with the the loving God. And maybe the differences just come. They start with the fact that it's a desert in one place and rainy in the other, and we start to make our.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dr. Kaufmann, when you all religion had to come through man, divinely inspired through man, and
yeah.
man is subject to his or her time or culture, or so we I think all religious people have to remember that, and as Guruji say, spirituality is universal, spirit is one, we are spirit, we're part of spirit, it
Yeah.
doesn't have boundaries.
Once I asked my mother, somebody told me, "Oh, God created us." So I asked mother, "Who created God?" And she said, "You're so naughty." but
As
but
long
I
as.
said, "That is good. This is the way you should ask questions."
Very good. Very
So
good.
when you look at a person, you look at the eye, the divinity is there. You look, see the way Narayana Guru taught his disciples. If you want to see a God, just take a mirror and look at.